Ah, there we go. My bad. Shit. Ah, there we go. My bad. Shit. Echo. Anyways, welcome back. Welcome back, my friends. Hope you guys are doing well. Episode number 89. Good to see you all here. We are back after yesterday and Wednesday. I hope you guys enjoyed it so far, the comeback after the holidays. Today is the NFP day. Okay, so we have to be very, very, very freaking sharp because we have the non-far pails coming up tonight during the day, during the New York session. We're going to talk about all of that here. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me see what the chat is saying and how you guys are doing today. Are you guys ready to rock and roll? As always, we're going to do our full breakdown, full analysis, making sure that everything is ready and set. And we have to really, really, really pay attention to today's outcome, of course, in New York as well. It's going to have a major impact for the beginning, especially of next week. I can guarantee you that. I will show you proof of that, of why this is going to be so freaking important. The NFP, baby. All right. Let me see what is in the chat today. Hey, Joss. Good morning, my friend. Good to see you. Crackling, good morning. Hey, man. Connie, the man. GMBS, welcome back again. Georgelina, ready, steadily, go. Amazing. How are you, Georgelina? Good to see you. Yes. Abby, good to see you. Drew, good to see you. GMBS yesterday New York session was horrible. It was actually very nice. We'll talk about it later. It was actually very nice. We traded with the group. Actually, very nice session, to be honest. Yeah. All right, let's make it happen, guys. We have a lot of things to discuss. I'm not really in a rush at the moment for the trades, but I will explain everything in a second right now. We're going to go over everything, make sure you guys are fully ready, updated, and then you understand why as well. Okay, let's make it happen. Good to see you all. Welcome back. Another day, another session. Welcome back, my friends. Good to see you all. Welcome. We have the NFP ahead of us today. Are you guys ready for that? Ready to rock and roll? Final day of the week. Expect the biggest 4-hour candle of the week in terms of volume. And what we say on the stream, as always, is volume is king, right? Volume is king. We're going to talk about the NFP a little bit, because it actually is kind of important for the dollar. Well, kind of. It's actually super important, super relatable right now at the current moment. Okay, because the fact that these numbers that came out around the NFP already, like the JOLTS job openings and the ADP non-farm employment, came out again very negative for the dollar. Okay, the previous NFP came out very negative for the dollar, very negative for the dollar. And that's weak labor data right now that we're dealing with at this current moment, okay? So that is a reason, absolutely reason for the market to not increase interest rates as well. It has an impact, okay, on the potential expectations for the Fed as well. So we have to really, really pay attention to what happens. And every freaking NFP session, there is something big to share around the candle. Because the 4-hour candle, and this is the trick that I learned from someone, it's watching the 4-hour candle of the NFP very, very closely, okay? This is one of the things that I've noticed or I learned a long, long time ago. This was one of those layers that I paid attention to here. That is just so extremely powerful. Okay, understanding the NFP sessions. And then most importantly, right, look at that. This was one of those NFP candles that we had right here on June the 5th. Remember that candle right there in the chat? If you guys remember that, then you know exactly what I'm going to say, because this is going to have an impact right there. All that volume. This is a 4-hour candle during the NFP. 81,000 contracts traded on gold in a single 4-hour candle on the gold futures chart. And of course, we're trading spot on stream most of the time, right? But it's still important to watch. And if you mark out a zone there, eventually that became major resistance just by understanding that one 4-hour candle. Look at how that turned into major resistance right there. We saw that rejection there for multiple days in a row. And then again, and again, and again. And then the NFP the FOMC came out, couldn't break it either. And prices sold off right there all the way back to the downside right here. Okay. Then again, on July 2nd, we had another NFP session right there. 55,000 contracts, 11K. Okay. Right there became support, turned and flipped immediately into resistance right there. So regardless, I don't care what anyone says, the NFP candle is the candle that you always want to watch on a Monday, no matter what, okay? If you don't have the order flow, don't worry, you will see it on stream. We will watch this on stream immediately on a Monday, immediately during the AC session. You are aware of that 4-hour candle. And that will help tremendously with the bias, by the way. Tremendously with the bias according to what we're looking for. I love that actual, I love that candle. It's just so helpful to understand where gold is at and how it closes against where the most volume is traded in the New York session. Because if the most volume is traded in the New York session and you can track that, you can also get a little bit of better understanding of a bias. Sometimes you're very bearish, sometimes you're very bullish, sometimes you're kind of neutral if you're in between these two zones, two New York sessions. But the volume will tell you the story a little bit, okay? If you expect more of a balanced session or more of an imbalanced session, okay? Why do I expect a balanced session today? Let me explain you why, okay? Well, let's go to the chart right now at the moment. This is yesterday's New York session right there, 56,000 contracts, okay? We don't really go over the order flow a lot. Like usually we do a lot of price action, right? With some order flow, but today it's very important because we are getting rejected at the top, okay? But we also have the New York session here of Wednesday, 74,000 contracts at the bottom. So we are kind of in between two zones right now. And in order to have a direction, okay, a directional bias, again, right now at the moment, we really need to break above or below one of those levels eventually. And through that reason, I think we're going to stay a bit more flat today. And again, we have the NFP as well. Okay, so to take that in consideration, this is one of those days where, you know, we're setting up for like a major big event and we have not broken structure since, I would say, already Wednesday. since that major push to the upside right there, okay? So Wednesday, we were looking at longs. It was very clear, right? Yesterday, we took a long inside of the fair value. That was pretty clear. The New York session came. We went for longs too. Okay, why did I took a long with my group in the New York session? We actually took a long together. We had a live stream, New York private stream. We don't do this often, but we do this a couple times. And you can actually see right there that we waited for the low volume note to be hit. We tapped into the low volume note right there. Boom. Waited. New York session, by the way. Okay. Saw a huge amount of trapped sellers at the bottom inside of the low volume note right there. Super nice, actually, if you look at it from that perspective. Bounced from it, and then price shoot up right there. Price came up, price came up, price came up, price came up, and it came back into the range. You see how these low volume notes are and how you can use that. And we took the trade right there, right? We entered, of course, right around that level. I'm not sure if I can spot it right now at the moment. There we go. But we tapped into that, okay? We tapped into that area, and then price came in. We entered pretty much at the bottom. Yeah, we entered at the bottom right there. It was actually kind of a nice setup. Look at that, boom. That was New York yesterday as well, after the Asian stream. Entered there, and we exited somewhere around this area. Okay, but then it came back down one more time. And then at the same time, we tapped into the low volume note again. Okay, this is the low volume note right now at the current moment. We tapped into that yesterday and we couldn't break it. We couldn't break it, okay? So how do you do this? How do you get these low volume notes up? How do you get that support and resistance? And why, if you see something like this on the daily time frame, you think it's gonna dump hard, right? This is the thing about gold on the higher time frame. You look at the daily and you think, wow, this is gonna absolutely dump. Why? You're getting rejected, you're in resistance, right? The daily candle looks bearish, or you flip bearish, let me go short. And then what happens is, you go short, right? And everyone else goes short because they see the daily candle flip bearish, and that invites a lot of people selling. Look at that. A lot of people selling right there. Look on the 50-minute. A lot of people selling. You see that? Right there. And then the moment the most sellers are coming into the market, right here, all these red bubbles, all those sellers step in, the candle flips bullish, or not bullish, but it gets absorbed and price shoots up again, right? And now people are short at the bottom and they're stuck in a trade, right? So that is kind of the potential scenario that you see happening a lot, is that if you see something that looks extremely obvious, then a lot of times it is not gonna work out this way, unfortunately, okay? But that is just the way it seems to look like sometimes with gold, right? The moment you think, oh, this is so an easy trade, it's gonna potentially flip, it's not gonna flip. And this is one of those scenarios again, that if you look on the higher time frame, you think this is gonna come down. But on the lower time frame, you think, hey, we are still at major areas of support here. So we talked about it already on a Wednesday, right? We said at some point we're gonna break out. Now we broke out that session here. That was kind of an obvious reaction. It was not really surprised. We are now getting rejected a little bit higher. Okay, we're getting rejected at this area. I was still waiting for price to potentially get up higher. But now I'm waiting a little bit. Now I expect after yesterday that we also find some resistance there already. Okay, so we're going to talk about that exactly. But at this current moment in time, let's go to the 50-minute time frame. Okay, and let's draw the volume profile in two ways. All right, if you want to learn about the volume profile, you can download my book. It's in the description. You go to ltconcept.io, you download my free ebook, and it learns, it explains you everything about the volume profile and everything for free. You know, you don't have to pay me for it. And today I will upload a video explaining some of my playbook setups. Okay, so today is one of those days where I'm going to upload a video in my free Telegram as well, which is a private Telegram group, which is just for now, at this current moment in time, so educational content, which is private content that you will not find anywhere else. You will not find this on my YouTube channel because it's private, okay? You can find it only in my Telegram group right there, okay? Episode 1 and 2 is already in there. Episode 3 will be released today. Yes, no BS, just straight up me yapping, talking about my playbooks, etc., etc. Okay? Anyways, at this current moment in time here, let's mark out the swing low or swing high, or we can also mark out the previous Wednesday. I think it's still important to watch. And you can actually see that according to Wednesday, we are now tapping again into that same low volume node right there, where a lot of that absorption took place of those sellers right there. You see that? And that is that same area of support that I've been talking about before already on the stream as well yesterday. By the way, if you looked at yesterday's stream, we already talked about this as one of the lower levels because we were looking at longs yesterday and we had no follow through, remember? So we took profits and it was good that we took more, that we took profits, correct? I think it was a smart decision to take profits because we realized quite quickly that the market was struggling to break the highs. And because of that, we realized that we had to get out of the position or at least take profits and wait for price to develop again later on, right? So therefore, I think we made the right decision by exiting the trade or at least taking profits. I think that was something that we had to do in order to make sure that we are ready to rock and roll. So in order for us to say, okay, I'm short, we really need to break down heavier and then pull back. Why? Because of the following reason. What we want to see is we want to see a next level area of supply to be created. Okay, we already are in a zone on the daily. Now we are getting ready to get rejected there. We are in the daily zone right there. If you go to the 4 hour, we want to see a stronger expansion and then potentially see some sort of new supply being created that is actually a bit stronger than this one. And that allows us to break below the Wednesday New York session. Okay, the Wednesday structure, I would say. This is the Wednesday New York open. This is where the most volume was traded. I think that has to be taken out, then the pullback, and then the sell-off. I would be very careful with shorting the top here because there is a lot of absorption happening at the top and it invites a lot of sellers to enter. And then again, every freaking time you get absorbed and you don't want to be on the wrong side when you go short because you think it's dropping and then it's not coming down anymore. And you're stuck in an, in the short, etc. Be very careful with that. Same thing for right now, okay? Because you have that major support right there, sitting at let me see, 26 and 42.010, and on futures, yeah, it's a major level right there. Super small gap. Look at that. Inside the volume profile, there is like a gap. You see that? A weird gap. Very strange, right? But that is what we call a low volume node. It's similar to a fair value gap or an imbalance, but it's not the same. Okay, it is not the same. I would call this just a low volume node, an area of inefficiency, a low volume area. Okay, you can see this right here by looking and zooming in to the volume profile. And then you zoom out, you scroll up and look at that. You see that? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, you mark out a level. You mark a box inside of that. You see that? And you do a low volume node right there. Boom. And you look at the chart and look at where we got rejected from yesterday. Pretty clear, right? New York session, late New York session though. Right there. Okay. We tapped into this right there and we got rejected at it quite aggressively already. Okay. So therefore, be careful with shorting again today, guys. Really, until the NFP comes and we break structure seriously, I'll be very careful with shorting because this is exactly where most traders are consistently getting trapped in the market right here. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Be very, very careful with that because I felt for it so many times when I saw the daily candle flipping bearish. And then I was like, oh, the daily candle is bearish now. Look, we're almost flipping. So this is a huge candle. We're going to fill this whole freaking gap on the daily. Well, guess what? We don't have to. We don't have to. Okay? So let price develop first. Let price break down properly. Break the internals. Pull back. And then maybe look for a double top or whatever formation that allows us to come back to the range. If we are potentially short on the market right here. But the NFP will tell us that. Okay, the NFP will tell us that because that candle will determine everything. Okay, if you shoot up, it will give us a lot of information. If you shoot down, it will also give us a lot of information for Monday. So I think without further reason, Monday will be the best day to be aware of our bias, to be very clear of potential follow through or pullback scenarios, and simply price just continuing back down to the range again. Okay, so all that makes sense. So Wednesday, we took a long, okay, on stream. Yesterday we took a long on stream, and today, yeah, to be honest, I'm actually kind of in a similar vibe still, unless we break down heavily first, okay? Which I don't think will happen in this Asian session, to be honest. But hey, you never know, okay? You never know. Okay, so what are the areas of interest today? I would say mark out the current day, mark out the current range, sorry, right there. We are currently operating inside of. Let me know in the chat. How do we call that? The OGs now in the chat, they know exactly what this is. We're operating inside of. Fair. Fair value, correct. Fair value. Okay, we're operating inside of fair value. We are balanced. Okay, we are saying in this range right now at the moment here, we can't break the very low, we can't break the very high. We're in the middle of this right now at the moment here. What I wanted to see actually was some sort of manipulation again, right? To potentially come down and see if we can tap into this, or we break back above, right? We break back above the very high with volume. And we break out, okay? We actually do break out with some momentum, with some volume here. We pull back and we look for long and we target the New York candle of yesterday. Where is that? New York candle of yesterday. The top of the 4 hour, the New York highs, right? So that is it's probably around there. Yeah, we'll target the top here, okay? That was something I was looking at. Somewhere around there, we'll face a lot of resistance too from the New York session from yesterday. That is a target I'll be watching. That is one thing that I'm watching right now at the moment. Okay. Either we break out of the fair value of this range, we pull back. I look at the order flow to see if there's follow through. I will target potentially the 76, or we actually get down to the low volume node one more time. Then it becomes very important to pay attention to what we're seeing right here at the moment, and that is on the hourly time frame, that absorption. Now look at the actual charts real quick for a second, okay? And look at the big orders on the right. You see that? 312 and 369. These are what we call the limit orders, the passive orders in the marketplace. So that is if you would smash that and we would like zoom it to the left or move it to the left side, you can actually see that is holding us support. You see, that is where people went super short, super aggressively short, okay, yesterday, all right? Because they see the daily candle flipping bearish and they think, oh, it's gonna drop, it's gonna drop. And then boom, nope, absorption. A lot of orders, a lot of people are defending this area inside of our low volume node here, okay? A lot of people are defending that level right now at the moment. So this is major support, guys. Like, what can I say? This is just major support right now at this current moment. Okay, hope that makes sense. So pay attention to this. As long as we're above that, I will be very careful with shorting, unless that gets taken out. Okay, unless this gets taken out, then I think we could finally continue to even consider shorts. Okay, until then, I'm still holding on to the long bias in both cases. Yeah, not gonna lie, guys, today we have to be a little bit careful, okay? I hope you understand why. I hope it makes sense for you why. You know, we have been growing our account right now. We're doing every trade live on stream. I decided, you know what? I'm only gonna use this account for the stream only. I never use this account, or have barely used this account for any personal trades outside of the stream, even not the New York session, etc. So we're going to use this account right now at the moment to grow live. We started at 6K. We're now at almost 21K, right? And we are just continuously growing. And I take this very serious, okay? And the reason why I take this very serious is because I think this is the ultimate proof. And at the same time, that means that I have to, I don't do this for entertainment, okay? I do this because I actually want to trade. And if I see the market being very balanced or waiting or being in anticipation of major news, I do want to wait for the right opportunity in the market for me to take action, okay? So that hopefully makes sense to you guys. We trade almost every day, but I cannot guarantee today that it will turn out to be as clean as yesterday or as Wednesday, okay? Because of the NFP today And because we're very compressed at the moment inside of two major areas of support and resistance, and the NFP need to come to give us more clarity as well. Okay. Anyways, that is what we're looking at right now, but we're looking pretty strong at the moment. So if we break out of the fair value, we might indeed have a trade. Yeah. Okay. We'll check it out. We'll check it out. Right there. I love how the volume is coming in. I love again how a lot of people are getting stuck and trapped in their position again. Okay, because I can guarantee you, the moment you saw this today during the opening, okay, what a lot of people are gonna do here, I'm sure a lot of people went short immediately when they saw this candle, when they saw price breaking down here. Right, it looked like it was gonna break down. If you don't see this, by the way, you just think this is gonna crash. And it's gonna invite a lot of people to go short, and then it flips bullish again. That's what gold does, okay? Especially around these news events, etc. This is gold. This is gold's specialty. Trapping guys throughout after major events, especially. Do you trade your own big account in another section? Yes. How long have you been growing this account on live? I think a month, a little bit over a month now. A month, and I think around, with my holiday included, around 5 weeks. Excluding my holiday. Kano, hey my friend, where are you living now? It's getting later in Morocco. I'm in Bali, my friend. I just came back from Europe. I'm back in Bali at the moment. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's see if we can break out today. That's all I can say, right? Because as long as we're balanced right now at the moment, we just use the volume profile of the range. That's the first real step, I would say. Okay, because as long as we're operating inside of our value, there is no trade for sure. We need to wait for price to break out of that area. And then we can even consider. So it could be in both directions. We could tap into this zone. We take out the low. And we hold support here again. Right? Then I see the potential scenario that we could do something like this, right? Another thing is that we actually do break out. And I would try to at least come back towards the top of the New York session yesterday. Inside of this range, there is nothing to do, I would say. Yeah, you can see it already why we're getting rejected at the top of the fair value of the very high. And at the bottom too. So we're literally like in the middle right now. You can see it right there. Will you have a gathering with Indonesian traders in Bali? If you want to, I can do like, we can organize something. That was my ambition, by the way, is to go, is to do something in real life. I've been streaming for years now. I would love to do something in real life. Never done it in real life. Would love to do it at some point. You know what I mean? Some live trading, live, real life. Yeah. Do you always trade with one lot when you start with this account? 6K, 0.5 first, and now, yeah, 1. Here first 0.5, beginning, and now 1. Yes. 1 lot. Yeah. And by the way, the account could have been much higher, by the way. If I took trades in the New York session with this as well, outside of the streams, the account could have been much, much higher. And I missed out on a couple big ones as well. Like Wednesday, for example, was a great example. But I'm still very, very satisfied, to be honest. If you put it in rate respect, going from like 6 to almost 21K in like 5 weeks of actively trading with it, it's still not bad. but it could have been better. Okay. Now, inside of the range itself, right now, this is what we do, right? In a fixed range, we use the fair value of the range. If we break out, then we look at the order flow again. So there's no need right now for me to stare at the order flow chart here because there is nothing that's happening, okay? That is not really how I use order flow. I use order flow sometimes on the higher time frame to give me a little bit of understanding of where we are, right? What's happening in the market from a macro perspective. I look at the New York candles. Why? Because the New York candle shows the most volume. And if the most volume is traded there or there, because that's also a New York candle, then I know we're most likely going to stay balanced until we break one of those New York sessions. Does that make sense to you guys? High volume allows us to understand where the institutional traders are the most active and how they manage price. So if price is trading above that, okay, so above this session right there, then there are buyers holding price in control there. Now, that's clearly what's happening right now. At the same time, yesterday, a lot of sellers at the top came in. So this is why the NFP today will be so important, because in most cases, 99% of the time with the NFP, we'll break out of any one of those major sessions from Wednesday and from Thursday. Okay, and that's going to help us tremendously with our bias again. Now we're balanced, so now we are neutral. But we have to just be aware of the fact that we're very tight at the moment. All right? Yeah. But it's okay. It's okay. This is just one day. This is a Friday, and once the NFP is done, we probably have a really good Asian stream Monday, with like a lot more context right away. It's gonna be very good. Georgelina, like an event you need to make it in Argentina. How about that? South America, definitely would also be very nice to go to South America as well. Anywhere, to be honest. But we have a lot of work to do, guys. I'm gonna be streaming this whole year. Yeah, I took a holiday. Okay, my ambitions are top tier right now at the moment. My discipline is top tier. We're gonna continue to build this whole year round. Okay, so yeah, I took a little holiday. I needed a little break. I went to Ibiza, Spain. Now I'm back, so I'm fully ready to rock and roll this whole year round until December, where the market is usually very slow. That's another break. Well, this is kind of a holiday for me anyway, so it doesn't feel like a holiday for me. It just feels like a very regular trading session. Every day is a holiday. Are you going to take a long when you break the highs? Well, let's look at when we do break the highs. Let's look at what's happening inside here. Okay. Let's see, because it's super tight today. All right, so be careful today. I'm just saying. We better break out with a lot of volume here, and actually show a lot of volume, and then a pullback or something like that. Yeah, we better do, because we will already be trading inside of the fair value of yesterday. We're already in that. We're already getting accepted inside of that already. That is good though. So we're already getting accepted inside of it. But we have to break out, and we have to then get deeper and deeper inside of that area right now. But more bullish than bearish for sure, guys, really. More bullish than bearish. We've been bullish Wednesday, Thursday, and today. And we might be bullish again on a Monday, but that depends on the NFP. That depends on the NFP. Are you still using your TopStep account or are you back using your MT5? Bro, I'm still funded, 450K. But I have not been trading it at all, to be honest. And the main reason is I run a poll as well on the chat. And the chat said 75% of you guys trade CFDs. Can you believe that? 75% of you guys trade spot, trade CFDs, okay? So I was like, okay, it's gonna be super freaking confusing. So let me just trade CFDs. For me, it's no problem. I love to trade CFDs. I've been trading CFDs for years. I just want to trade gold. I don't care where or how or what. I just want to trade gold because we love gold, right? We love gold. Even in hard times, we love gold because gold is gold is gold. Gold is the best instrument to trade if you get it. If you get it and if you know how to trade it properly, it is the best instrument to trade. But you need to know it. You need to be connected with it. You need to have a relationship with gold, a proper relationship, a love and hate relationship. Okay. Once you get it, you get it. And this is why I'm also just focusing on one instrument at the moment, or have been focusing on one instrument. And best decision of my life, honestly, best decision of my life. Just focus, pure focus. And really getting to know one instrument very, 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 very well in different conditions. So you can then apply that concept, that framework to whatever, the Nasdaq or whatever you want to do. But it's better to master one instrument, in my opinion, and then move over to another one later than to differentiate yourself across 6 different instruments at the same time and only knowing to trade them half. Right? Because every instrument has its own character, his own characteristics, his own way of behaving, moving, manipulating. Yeah, but this was a perfect playbook example. Yeah, it was a perfect playbook example yesterday, guys. I'm not gonna lie. That was actually a perfect example of what we talked about. Okay, that was the... And so beautiful, actually. That is an example of how you can just continuously trade. Let me see. Where is that? That was yesterday's New York session, okay? I don't do this live on YouTube, but man. That was the perfect tap into that low volume node. The open pre-New York session, everyone went short here. And then we tapped into our low volume node. We got respected. We were undervalued against the dollar. You know how important that is. Everyone is going short here. Why? Because the daily candle flipped bearish here. And everyone went short before the New York session opened. Everyone's like, oh shit, the market's going to crash. Let's short. And then boom, we take out those highs immediately. And why those highs? Well, guess what? Everyone was short there. Exited, you could say there, yeah, exited at the top, etc. And that was kind of a good example of how price did that and actually moved over. Okay, a big shout out to the group. This is Group C. Okay, you guys know it. We do this once every 6 weeks. Once every 6 weeks, we have a group that we work with right there, and we trade live with them as well in the in different sessions and things like that. But yeah. We're breaking out now, finally. Let's see if this is a serious breakout. With some volume. Wow, it is a pretty serious breakout, to be honest. It looks like a serious breakout. The VWAP is sitting up there already. Major resistance right here. Okay. We're not fully there yet. Nope. Rejection. I think there's a big chance today, guys, that we will have a balanced session, Asia. Just a consolidation range or whatever. Smaller range, maybe even a compressed range until the, either London or New York session comes out with the NFP data. Okay, we have pretty much this right here, right now. We're dealing with like some sort of like wave to the downside right here. We also have this area. You see it already, right? I think you can already see what I mean. We're compressing again here, right? It's not like magic or something like that. It's just like we are already getting heavily compressed at this current moment right now in Asia. You can already see that we are just holding between the value area of that day, Wednesday. We're in that box. The value high of Wednesday, we are actually getting rejected at the bottom area. That's why I'm so interested at things like the bottom here, like the low volume node or whatever the case may be at the bottom. Because I think that allows us to hold support, to invite a lot of sellers to come in and then to flip bullish or get a wick in. And I would love to buy here at the bottom. Okay, if you take out those lows and then the candle flips bullish, then I believe you could try to at least get a scalp in, right? And then put our stop loss on break even. If it then breaks out, right? Then we at least have managed our position already. We get in here, we respect this, stop loss goes below, and then we respect that level. And then we actually maybe follow through, but then we already taken profits, etc. And you don't have to worry about having the right entry anymore. That's something I would love to see. Or we really have to do something big, like a big breakout and then a pullback, whatever the case may be. But right now we're going to reject it again. So yeah, that's kind of what we're seeing as well here. So yeah, that is the level that I was watching. Actually, the lows, if you could tap into those lows or take out those lows right there. And then look for longs immediately again. Or the breakout has to happen. We'll see. Yeah. If you don't have a trade in like whatever, in like 20 minutes, and we're still in a range like this, guys, then we'll keep it a very short stream for today, because I don't want to waste your time either, right? We've been trading pretty much every day, but there are days where it's better to just not trade if you don't see the confirmation. Don't force a trade, by the way. If there's one thing that I've learned is, don't force anything. It's really hard to accept. Also for people in our group, sometimes they take trades. I'm like, bro, you didn't have to take a trade. It was not necessary. Could have waited the session. The market is not going to run away. Okay. And you increase your odds 20 times. And, you know, somehow you got the feeling that you had somehow to find something. Somehow you had to find something. Well, that's not how the game works. That's not how the game works. And I learned it the hard way, because I've been there. All right, I made all the mistakes in the world. All the mistakes in the world, man. I made so many mistakes over the last, I don't know, 8 years, that I could tell you with confidence that if there's someone that made more mistakes than you, it's me. Okay? I'm just saying. I made a lot more mistakes than you did, okay? And that's why I'm here now, because I went to that shithole for so long that I was like, okay, that's not going to happen to me anymore. And I never stopped. I never stopped. That was the one thing I'm very grateful about in trading, that I never gave up, man. I always kept grinding, kept going, no matter the situation, kept developing, by the way. kept innovating my strategy, optimizing my approach, but sticking to like the same framework, using the volume profile, not deviating too much from strategy to strategy. There was a time where I brought in some more macro, some higher time frame data, like the COT and things like that. But for the rest, the volume profile always was part of my main strategy, my main framework for my strategy since the beginning, actually. Would never be able to trade without the volume profile, that's for sure. And especially not on gold. Would never be able to trade without this beautiful tool. The fixed range volume profile. Without it, I would be really feeling like I would be trading blindly. Okay, even order flow, I would not prefer order flow over the volume profile. Okay, I could in essence trade without the volume profile, without order flow. I think I could not trade without the volume profile. Funny, because a lot of people would say the other way, right? I can trade without the volume profile, not without order flow. I do not agree. I think that the volume profile is the bread and butter. Now you can already see it every time when the market is trying to break out of the fair value of today. It gets rejected right now at the moment. Matter of fact, we moved up because this is what we do. We look at the range and we mark out every latest candle. We move it up every candle. So before it was around here, right? And you see how the fair value right now has shifted from here to there. So it moved up. That is how the volume is distributed. Right, so now we have to break above that. You see that? And we can't seem to do this right now at the moment. If you were in New York sales at 4273, would you close it right now or would you wait if it breaks out of fair value? You're in a range. I would definitely think about. I would definitely consider taking profits when you're in the low volume node. Yeah, which is below the area. Yeah, look at that. Already getting rejected there. So let's move it up. But I think it's already done. Yeah. Why do you trade another section? With my group, which is the Gold Hybrid Trading System Elite Group. Only allow around 20 people per month to join every 6 weeks. You don't hear me talk about it a lot because I share a lot of free content too, right? I have the live streams, I have the Telegram with my videos now. We have a book, which is the LTA Concept Trading Warm-Up. You can study the volume profile, learn about this as well if you are new to the volume profile. I had to write a book about it because I think it was important for you to also understand it. Some people love to read and learn about the volume profile through this way. Okay, can really help. It can really help you a lot, I would say. Setting up the settings, the correct settings, the foundation. So you can read this book. It's not like a promotional book. There's no promotion in the book. Okay, it's just about you getting better, understanding the volume profile, getting the right foundation. Okay. There are a lot of other topics in the book as well, but the volume profile in section 1 is the most important for you right now. Is your trading time at the EST? Yes, I think. Yeah, New York session always. Always. Yes. Ivan, so bored waiting. Yeah, I agree. But like I said, I warned you, man. This is what we talked about before. And this is also the reason, setting the right expectations for the day, for the session. We still show up any day though, regardless right now, unless it's horrendous price action. It's like not even worth to look at market. But we're still showing up because I just want to see what's going on. But we're not going to give it too long time. If I'm not in a position in the next 20 minutes, we'll cut the stream earlier and then come back again, right? We'll come back on a Monday. Full trading week ahead of us. With a lot more conviction after the NFP, I can guarantee you that. That will be a big one. Still thinking about the trade for Wednesday. Wow. Bro, did you get an umbrella for your stream from your PC to protect you from Starbucks? Yeah. Waywender. My man. You still remember. Yeah, so what happened was a week ago, no, before my holiday, I dropped coffee over my computer when I was live streaming. And my computer crashed literally on stream. My GPU crashed. Yeah. And if you watch the stream back, you could literally see my computer glitching for a second and crashing. And then I went on my laptop, horrible session, by the way. Lost the trade lost the trade on stream. After that, immediately, I was like a complete waste of time, that session. You know, you see the good side, you see the bad side. Me dropping coffee over my PC, getting out of my element. And then losing a trade, like horrendous session. Horrendous. That happens too. That happens as well. Okay. Can you show me the status of the account? Of course, we keep things transparent here. So we have one account that we used to grow on stream. That's it. This is the account we're going to use. Could have been much higher. Could have been much better already, to be honest. But it's not bad at all. It's decent results, I must say. Yeah, I mean, we kept it very good, I would say, overall. 70+% win rate for sure. Okay, 70+% win rate. We had a couple of losses here. The biggest win is bigger than the largest loss. That is always important to understand, that the biggest win is bigger than the largest loss. A lot of smaller wins at the end though, right? We can see that we have not really got into like those big runners. A lot more scalps lately, but also that's the market in a nutshell. And then of course Wednesday was unfortunate. But yeah, overall we're sitting at a 70+% win rate at the current pace. Okay, so we're paying attention to this very, very carefully. Yeah. And with that, of course, you can have a high win rate, but if your biggest loss is so much bigger than your biggest win, it doesn't make much sense either, right? So this is one of the big criteria, that my largest win is clearly bigger than my largest loss. I think this is also important because you can have a great win rate, and then win, and then have one big loss that outperforms all your wins, yeah, then it's not really relevant, is it? Right? Yeah. Wow, super freaking flat today, guys. Holy moly, what a session. Horrendous. But it makes total sense why. Let's be honest here. It's completely normal that this happens throughout the NFP session. Okay. We're getting suppressed by the sellers here in the hourly candle right there. Okay. We have a huge hourly candle. 15,000 contracts traded here. This was at 12 p.m. New York time. Okay. And that point of control level is holding at resistance right there at the moment. You can see this right here. And then we have the low volume node at the bottom with these huge orders right there sitting, holding that support as well here. So this is the range. This is why we're balanced today, right? We need to leave this. We need to leave this area and actually do something about it, like break out of the very area high or low. But, you know, we'll have a lot of absorption here, a lot of support at the bottom. So we need to do something. We need to break out of one of those sections right now. And anything inside of this area is probably just going to be ping-ponging, okay? Ping-ponging inside. But even that is filled with a lot of mixed participation, I would say. Mixed market participation, right? But the NFP candle will change all of that. I'm very certain about that. Yeah. Ruben, good call yesterday, securing profits. I think it was important. Yeah. Yesterday we traded long. We went long at the breakout. But we never broke the highs. Yeah. We never did that. Where should we sell? Why sell, my friend Graham? Can you explain me why you're looking for sells right now at the moment? How do you manage your risk when trading? Most important thing I think, guys, is to, and this is one of the things that I had to learn, is when I manage risk, we manage risk not mechanically according to one way. We don't manage risk the same way, okay? We manage risk every day according to the market conditions. So we have different conditions, okay? Sometimes we are trading the range, the larger range. We're operating inside of fair value. On the higher time, for example, we're in a larger range. So supply is getting respected here. Demand is getting respected here. That's a completely way of managing trades, okay? Then, when we're trading an expansion like Wednesday, completely different, okay? Now we're trading the counter potential scenarios where price is in resistance, but we are still in some sort of momentum wave. Different way of managing trades, right? So it depends on the condition, okay? And this is something that I had to learn. It took me a long time, is to manage my trades accordingly to the right expectations of the condition and the session, okay? And if you can understand those nuances, then you know when to be more aggressive, when to be more defensive, when to hold longer to your trades, when to cut them short quicker. And so there is not one way of managing your trade, from what I've learned, There is not one singular way, because you can be extremely good at trading the ranges or trading the trend. But the moment the market goes flat, you lose all your money, right? Now, if you have that, then that's an issue. And you need to solve that, right? Some people are really good at trading the ranges, but the moment the market then breaks out, they start counter trend trading this every time and they get screwed. That's also another way, right? So you need to really be able to adapt quickly. And the best traders that I know, the best traders that I personally know, are the traders that can adapt quickly to a condition and immediately have and know what to do, what type of rules to set in place, how to manage risk properly, etc., quickly, right? And setting the right expectations for the day, for the session. Right there. Okay. Okay, finally doing something. We're breaking. We're trying to break it. Is it enough for a buy today, or are we going to be rejected by the end here? Why more bullish than bearish? More bullish than bearish for sure, because look at all those sellers from yesterday here in New York. Look at that. If there is so much selling here, you have to just take this in consideration, right? If there is so much selling here, look at the volume. It's crazy. Super bearish, right? So much selling happening right there. If there is truly so much selling here, okay, look at that. 500 negative delta, 400, 428, 800, all those red bubbles here. Aggressive sellers, big sellers. Why is price not lower? Why is price holding support here? That is not a good sign. If it was truly a selling market, why would we now getting absorbed here? Right? That's why selling right now is, in my opinion, very tricky. Okay? Especially there. Now we're trading higher. So it's longs or nothing. Okay, our first closure though, above it. Finally. Okay. All right, first closure. I think we're going to close above this. We closed above it. Okay. Fine. It was worth waiting. That was worth waiting. That's actually very good. Okay. Either we pull back now to the 50s around here. We'll wait to see how price reacts on the lower time frame. The 15-minute, we are there already. We're going to set the market straight. See if price can come down a little bit. But I do like this already much more than I liked it like 20 minutes ago. That's actually very good. We finally broke out that fair value like we talked about. So again, no sells, right? No sells. No sells. Now we can think about something like this, right? If we manage to pull back here, it's worth it. Unfortunately, we had to wait for the closure today and not for the breakout. We couldn't trade the breakout because it's just too tricky to trade the breakout today. I would wait for some sort of closure, and then we have a closure now. So let's see if inside of this area, if we pull back, if we find a way to get absorbed. And yeah, if we manage to retest the fair value now of the range. And then pretty much target the top here, the New York highs, which is the 4-hour candle of that New York session, right there. Somewhere here, and I see you see the low volume note right now inside of this. Now it makes sense. You see the low volume note here? Let me know if you guys can spot the low volume note. Lower volume inside of the range. Right there, you see that? Low volume node. Okay. Right there. So let's watch this now. Watch what happens when we pull back into the very area and see if there is something that we can use here. This is the area now for us to watch right here. And then maybe target the highs, or at least the 1 hour zone here, like that consolidation here. And then stop loss can be below the fair value, preferably the lows. But like in my opinion, I think this is fine because we have a low volume node right there. And then target the range here. So that's actually pretty, if you can enter somewhere there, that's actually pretty good. Risk reward wise, it's pretty decent. Well, let's see. Let's see if we can pull back into this and hold some support there. It's definitely around this area. And the session view up off today there. Yeah, it's perfect. I would say it's around there. You can't give us like a 50 pips in stop loss. Yeah, if the market would be like that, then I would not be, you know, the stop loss needs to be where the stop loss needs to be, right? I mean, that's the way to do it. However, if you use the order flow on the lower time frame, you can actually see the absorption and then maybe put your stop loss below if you really have no room. And just trade the confirmation, right? So stop loss below the wick. But it only makes sense when you see that confirmation right there, I would say. But yeah, let's see if we can end the week strong, right? Let's see if we can actually do that. That would be nice. Honestly, I might lower the risk today a little bit. To be honest, I might lower the risk slightly today. Because we, you know, the market can be a bit, you know, during the NFP session and stuff as well. NFP day. I might lower my risk slightly, not much. But in the end, it does look pretty good. So it's not that it's like a bad setup or something. Why do you use the 15-minute? I mean, it doesn't really matter. Time frames are fractal anyways, right? So it doesn't really matter if you trade on the 30-minute, the 15-minute, the 5-minute, the 1 minute. Sometimes we're on a 1 minute chart. Like yesterday, we were on a 1 minute. Other days we're on the 15-minute. It does not really matter. Now we're on the 5-minute. It's pretty clear what we're looking for. Can you please tell me what the NFP is and how it affects the market usually? Yes, so NFP shows you the non-farm payroll employments, okay? So it pretty much shows you the amount of new employment that has been added to the labor force in the United States. And it's very important data to understand how well an economy is doing, if the economy is in a state of growth or decline, okay? According to the labor market, the labor data. The Federal Reserve appreciates strong labor data a lot, okay? If the labor market is strong, they're more inclined to, right, keep these interest rates, they can put the interest rates higher to reduce inflation. If the labor market is extremely weak, it becomes very tricky, okay? It becomes very, very tricky to increase interest rates. And then, if they do have to decrease, or if the interest rates are coming out lower, if the expectations are softening, it of course tends to benefit gold a lot. Yeah. May I ask you why we're not looking for short position, as we have the NFP in Asia and AMD? London will prep and visit 4188 and 4175. Okay. 4188 and 4175. Okay. Low volume node right there. You can see that we're getting respected there. A lot of people are trying to sell there yesterday. Couldn't break it. You see that? All that selling? Look at that. Look at the amount of selling here. So much volume. Okay. So as long as we're seeing a huge absorption of all those sellers, people trying to short, can't get anywhere. You can see there's a huge buyer with their huge 297 contract orders sitting there, holding that support. So there is a passive buyer, a buyer that is ordering or controlling price right at the bottom right there. And you can see that every time when we got there, we're getting rejected. That's happened here too, by the way. I took a long here in New York yesterday with the group. You can see that this happened here as well. And ever since that, we are not trading. We have never broke those lows. Every time we get down here, we can't seem to break it down. So it invites a lot of sellers to step in, okay, and not follow through. And now we broke structure. Now we broke out of the fair value of the range to the upside as well, which is another confirmation. So all the trapped sellers are sitting there. And if sellers are trapped at the bottom and you break structure to the upside, why would I look for shorts, right? At the same time, the trend is still bullish. We broke out of a major range. And it's not by definition looking very weak at the moment, right? So I would only look for shorts if price would break that absorption of sellers. And we would pull back, create the supply on the 4-hour, 8-hour time frame, higher time frame, would create some supply. And then I would look for the sells, right? Then I know, okay, sellers are back in action. They're back in control. I would not hope that this will break. I would wait for that to break first, which is this area, that box that we marked out right there. Okay, all that makes sense. So just being patient now. And if it does break like you're saying it will, and we get to these levels, then I will wait for the retracement, right? And then look for sells anyways. So. Yeah. Why do you use TikTok? I don't use TikTok. This is not me. You know how many people follow me on TikTok? But it's actually not me. It is me, someone else using my face. And I'm like, wow, I saw it one time. I saw my own stream on TikTok. Someone else puts my my face on it with another chart. That's not even my chart. And it had like 3,000 viewers. I'm like, bro, I'm doing something wrong here. Like, I'm missing out on something. You know what I mean? I am missing out on an opportunity to do something on TikTok, because if you can just do that and you get like 3,000 live viewers, then I'm doing something wrong. Like that's 100% the truth. So, hey man, I might actually go to TikTok. Who knows? Oh man, can we pull back at least to the fair value? Let's test fair value first before now going out and breaking out here. It looks pretty strong. And you see again why we're not looking into selling. Again, same story, no sells today. But I cannot enter the breakout today because an NFP with horrendous range. We're also getting rejected at the top a lot of times as well. It's very tight. It's pretty big. It's really balanced today, like we talked about before. So I can only wait for the pullback, the retracement of the fair value. So hopefully we do that. We pull back, but the target is the New York high. That is the target and nothing else. The New York high is the final target. GMAC trades. I've never seen you take a live trade. Wow, then you have been missing out something, man. I don't know. Then you've been missing out. Then you've been missing out on some monies. Is your trade active? Nope. Not today. Not yet, at least. Lorenzo, come to Bali. I am in Bali right now. I am in Bali right now. Yes. Me too. I did not see you take a trade in a live trade. Really? Have you guys never seen me take a live trade? What? Like, I've done 500 live streams. Guys, come on. You guys are sleeping. What the fuck is going on? Chat, help them, please. Not today, though. But we have our reasons for it. We have to pull back. That's the only way. What month is the best time to swing gold for buys? Like that big move that happened a couple months ago. This is actually a great moment right now. The fact that we finally broke out of that big accumulation. Okay, but I honestly think that the range itself, we made a lot of money in this range together, right? Like at least I did made a lot of money. We grew our account. We tripled our account inside of the range. So I don't really think that the big moves equal the most money. That's my personal opinion. Okay? It does make the most money if you're on the right side and you can hold on. I do agree. Okay, but you can make a lot of money inside of the range here. Okay. That was the thing with gold before. I couldn't somehow adapt quickly enough to the condition. So I was trading the trend very well, and then it started to range, and I was just fucking up in the range, for example, right? But now at this current moment in time, the range is actually an amazing way of trading, right? You trade, you short the top, you long the bottom. You know what I mean? And you just look for the continuations. Fazina, sell or buy? What do you think? Well, look at the chart. If you look at the chart right now, Fazina, what do you think? When you look at the chart, let me know. What do you see? What is our bias? What is our bias today? Or at least not today, this session. Because there's a difference between session bias and daily bias, or daily bias and session bias. That's another thing. I could be bullish in Asia and bearish in New York, right? It could be. I'm not going to stick to one daily bias and say that is my bias for the day, because it could be that in Asia and London, the move already happened. And in New York, you create the pullback, right? So that's also a thing that I look at. I'm like, okay. Daily bias or session bias. The session bias is more related to the session, of course. And that's why New York is a completely different way of trading. You need a completely different approach. If you trade New York and Asia, you know, for New York, you need a completely different approach. Why? Because you already have the daily candle developed. The daily candle is already developed. It's already a candle that has been open for at least 12 hours. Or 14 hours, right? So that's a big difference. A candle that already is open for 14 hours, a daily candle, or a candle that just opens up and develops. Completely different way of trading and analyzing. What happens if trade just leaves us? I think it's just going to leave us. I think I'm completely fine with this actually today. Like I'm prepared you guys mentally for it. Like I said, the only way to trade it for me today is the pullback, retest the value area, and nothing else, I would say. That's the only way today. Pullback inside of the value area, predominantly the low volume node inside of it. So that's like, yeah, 47. 47. And then stop loss can actually be, it doesn't have to be a really big stop loss though. That's a good part. And if it goes, it goes. And then the target is pretty much the highs of the New York session. Okay. And if it goes there. The New York session is the target. But I hope you understand why we were not looking at shorts today again. Because shorts were, yeah, we talked about the reasoning why no sells today, or at least not now. Maybe the NFP changes everything. Who knows, right? If the NFP changes the whole structure, I could consider shorts, but for that, the lows need to be taken out. Which side is moving coming in 10 days? We'll see. It will see. It will see. I believe that after today's NFP session, we will have an amazing understanding of where gold will be according to the 4-hour candle. We talked about it so many times already. And I think this is for us the best possible way to look at the market, is to take the New York session extremely serious. Okay. Especially the NFP candle, because the NFP candle usually runs in between 60,000 and 100,000 contracts in 4 hours, which is really big. It's a big amount of volume. Okay. And if you can track those contracts, so you can track that 4-hour candle of each NFP session properly, then it allows you to look at the market in a completely different way and to say, hey, that is something that I'm willing to look at. Okay, I think it was the end of May. Where is it? I can't find it anymore. That was already before. It was April. Ah, right there. Sorry. Couldn't believe it. Yeah, look at this. This is the NFP candle right there. Okay, this was the NFP candle of June 5th. Not May, sorry. June 5th, that was the NFP candle right there. We never broke that resistance after. Okay. Now, 81,000 contracts is a really big candle. And if the most volume is traded, let's say at the bottom, and you trade below that, the retest is usually major resistance. And I will remain bearish. So this is how you trade the NFP, actually. It's actually on a Monday. If you then wait until the Monday, so you wait for the NFP to play out, and then you wait for the Monday, and you are in a zone like that, the chances of you holding support or resistance is massive. Yeah. Massive. So we'll use this. We'll use this for Monday for sure. But yeah, very slow market today. As long as the NFP is not out yet and we're in a range, okay, don't expect too much until the New York opens today, I think. So don't expect a big rally or whatever the case would be. Just trade the internals. Right now, we are breaking out of fair value. Now we have an opportunity to say, okay, what happens if we retest the value area? Can we go at least back towards the high of the range? I hope we can. Yeah, I'm going to give it, okay, I say it right now, 20 more minutes. Let's see if we can do this. So we have this candle closure, and then we have a next candle closure, okay? And then if I'm not in the trade, then I will just share with you the setup of the session today. But we're not going to sit here on the stream for 4 hours, wait for the setup to occur, because you guys already know that we're only looking for the right setups that make the most sense every day. And that's the thing of if you stream every day, right? I think in the streams across, like, let's say the last 10 sessions, I think we had around 7 trading days or 8 trading days and then 2 no trading days. But that's also part of the game when you trade every day, live on stream. With full transparency and showing all the trades. It still has to make sense. Have you got a buy limit? I prefer to simply wait for price to get there, see a wick, an absorption, and then just trade that follow through, whatever the case may be. But I do like it overall. I like what I'm seeing here. Based around what we're seeing now, there is a chance that we're going to see the pullback though. That we're still going to see the pullback coming because it's already, you see that? It's struggling. It is struggling. It is struggling. Yeah. Who has traded the NFP before? Let me see what the chat's saying. Have you guys traded the NFP before? Usually the best trades happen after the NFP. So Asian session Monday after the Friday NFP are amazing. I have high expectations for Monday. Okay. Usually, according to our data, our trades also in the group or also in the MetaTrader history, the best trades came from the post NFP sessions. Yeah. Can I ask you, why is your zone at 4244 and not at 4252? Because we are looking at the low volume node inside of the fair value. So we trade the volume profile. Okay. And the value our high shows where the most volume has been traded. So we don't look at the highs, we don't look at the lows. We just care about the 70% of the range. That's what we care about the most. The volume inside of the range, right there. These are only outliers, right there. These are only the outliers. We don't really care about that. We care about the fair value inside of that. So the top, the bottom, right there. That's what we care about. And then hopefully we can get inside of the fair value. Maybe we bounce from here. But we could also kind of see if we can get into the low volume. No, that would be the best entry, of course, if you can get there. I think we have it set already, 47, yeah. What is your view, bullish or bearish on the news? That's something that I've learned. The last time I did that, I don't try to really predict the news, to be honest. Because the news can be whatever it wants to do, okay? And I can give you an indication, but it's just gonna be random, all right? It's just gonna be random. It's just gonna be a guess at that time. So I don't want to give you that. I don't want to give you the hand side of like, oh, I'm looking for whatever. Let's see what happens. Let's use that candle and take that candle in consideration for our Monday Asian session. That will be powerful. All right, 13 minutes left. Let's see if we can make it happen today. M2M Forex, save your money. Don't trade during the NFP. I have left multiple accounts there in the past. Facts. I do agree. I do agree. Trading the NFP can be very risky. It is very random. If you like to have fun, then have a lot of fun, right? Do it during the NFP. But once the NFP is done, you have really good information to see what can happen next. So that's going to be very good. Then you can trade with actual conviction, I would say. You can also like wait for the candle to move up and then look at the order flow and see how it develops. And scalp that. There are ways to trade it. Which pairs do you love trading? There's only one pair that I love the most, and that is gold. That is gold, and that is a little bit of NQ on the side, but it's mainly gold. Yeah. So in this stream, predominantly gold. Especially now, we're focusing on that. Wow, what a slow grind today, guys. Wow. Typical NFP session, that's for sure. Typical NFP. If you don't think the pullback is possible, then and you think it's gonna leave without us, then you will see. Most cases, we might just do that and just pull back here. Let's see. But we give it around 10 more minutes right now. Because if I don't take a trade in this session today, then I don't want to hold you up. I want to show you the analysis and see what I'm going to do. So you have the understanding of why we're not looking for shorts. Go a little bit deeper. Where is a good place in Bali to visit for holiday? Uluwatu. It depends what you like. If you like the beaches, I would go to Uluwatu. If you like the spiritual stuff, the jungle, you go to like Ubud or you go to like Munduk, things like that. If you like to work, you're an expat and you like to go to the gym, you like to go to like these, you know, nice restaurants and nice gyms, you go to Canggu. But if you're on holiday, I would try to just go to Uluwatu. What information you're going to get from the NFP? Well, today a lot of people are asking about it. What is the NFP? The NFP is the non-farm payrolls right there. Okay, it's super important for the dollar. If the dollar moves aggressively, because that gold will react aggressively to that as well. The whole market gets shaken up by this data. All right, and it reflects the change in the number of people employed during the previous month. excluding the farming industry. And job creation is the foremost indicator of consumer spending, which accounts for the majority of economic activity. Okay? A higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish for the dollar, while a lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish for the dollar. And it has been relatively accurate, actually. If the data came out negative, dollar drops. No wick, just came down. When the labor data came out positive, dollar shoot up. It has been very reliable, especially in the last couple of releases that we have seen so far, right? Pretty good. What is your win rate? I think we just showed it. We just showed it. Go back a little bit. We just showed all the results, all the data. Over the last since June, I would say. It's June, July, and now August already. Wow. But we took a holiday. We had a 2-week break, a week and a half break, 10-day break. We had a holiday. All right, 6 more minutes. Let's see what the dollar is doing as well here. Yeah, the dollar is completely flat. Look at that. Dollar is completely flat in anticipation of the news today. Dollar can make up his mind, that's for sure right now at the moment. We had a big breakout yesterday, late. But the dollar right now is stuck. What about oil? Oil too. Oil is stuck. Oil is flat as well. Oil is flat, the dollar is flat, gold is relatively flat, but gold looks stronger in rate respect than the dollar and than oil at this current moment. Right? Dollar looks a bit stronger. Gold looks stronger than gold. Gold looks stronger than the dollar. What are you going to do today? We're going to share a free video in the Telegram group right here. Okay? I'm going to make one. I'm going to record one for you guys. Today is the explanation of the playbooks. Okay? So if you haven't watched 1 or 2 and 2 yet, 2 is extremely relevant right now, by the way, because we're talking about a low volume note. Today, we're going to drop episode number 3. Okay? I highly recommend you to watch this. It is a free video. Nothing here is paid for. Okay? Free video. It's a private video on my channel right here. You can see that it's unlisted. Unlisted, you don't see it right there unless you are in our Telegram group. You can click on that and then you can join and watch this video series about the volume profile. So if you're new to the volume profile, you want to learn how to trade it, and we have been using this real-time, live, trading it for the past 2 months, real executions, etc. Using the tool, then you can understand here how to start and mark out your own trading view volume profile charts and get familiar with it, because it takes some time. If you trade differently and you want to use the volume profile and learn it, it takes a bit of time to get used to, but once you are used to it, there's no way back. There is no way back. It is, it's game over from there. Yeah. And this is what sooner or later every trader is realizing, that the volume profile is goated. Okay? That is the truth behind the matter. Why do I say that? Well, look at every influencer right now on Instagram. Every influencer now is talking about the volume profile. Okay? 5 years ago when I started streaming, no one was talking about the volume profile. No one was talking about it, okay? It didn't exist. It was only the boring old, you know, the 60, 70-year-olds from the old Wall Street generation, like the institutional London, the London institutional guys. Like these were the volume profile traders. And now every guy talks about it, like it's part of their concept, right? No matter their strategy, they all implemented the tool now. And it makes total sense. It was a matter of time. Bro, I heard that you lost $30,000 in January gold silver crash. No. Key hermano, volume was not that much at high point. Market has become volatile now. Market has become very tradable, actually. Market has become very, very tradable. There are only certain days in the market where you have to be a bit careful. Today is one of those days. All right, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, this candle is... It's slow, okay. So anyways, this is a very, very slow condition right now today, guys. We expected this already, right? Let's be honest in the chat. I think we all expected the market to be a little bit like this today, okay? To have a little bit of a slower grind, all right? I think for a lot of new traders out there, like it's sometimes hard to understand why we do not trade every session on stream. And I do completely understand why, because it's, you know, very, very useful. I know people sometimes that are starting that take like 40 trades a day or something like that. I'm not joking when I say that. I've been speaking to people on the calls, and they were taking 50 trades a day. I'm like, bro, how do you even press the button 50 times with your finger? Like, how do you even do that? Okay. How is it even possible? But it really comes down to having a strategy, having a conviction, having some sort of understanding of what you're looking for, and you want to see that playing out, right? And there are certain days in the market, like an NFP day, where there is when we're prepping for major news, like the non-par payrolls, and where I know from my personal experience that I have to be very, very sharp, careful, need to wait for the right setups in the market, can't be too aggressive. And just have to wait for price to get to my entry and not to chase price like we did yesterday. Yesterday we chased price. Yesterday we traded the breakout. Wednesday, similar, right? Today, let price come to us. Let's not chase price. Let price come to us and see if it can actually respect and hold there, okay? That's the only way I'll be able to grow my account live on stream. By keeping things transparent this way. That is the only possible way for me to do it, okay? Because if I would not follow those rules, I would not have the results right now to show for. So that is the only way, okay? Anyways, let's talk about why we were looking at longs and why not shorts, right? Because it's like, if you look on the higher time frame right now, you think, oh, but isn't this super bearish? Like, are we now not looking at like major resistance? And why shorting at the top? Why longing? Sorry, why are you trying to long the market when the market is already so high and it broke out already? And it looks like there's a huge gap there. And why are you not looking for shorts? Well, I tell you why, okay? Because inside of this higher time frame candle, there are things that we're seeing happening all the time. And that is the following. We're seeing a series of volume that is distributed right there, okay? When we have a huge swing low to swing high, okay? Swing low to swing high right there. And we have the volume in that swing measured like that, and it's fairly well distributed, like high volume, low volume, high volume, low volume, high volume, low volume, okay? The problem what you're gonna face is you're gonna tap into those low volume nodes and you're gonna react from it, right? You could react from it every time, okay? So if the candle would look like this from a volume perspective, so let's say, you know, from a volume perspective right there, you can actually see that the market is doing something like that. The market is distributed from this perspective right there, okay? And the volume is traded right there, where you have like a huge amount of volume at the top, like a P formation, and low volume at the bottom, right? And you would break that, then I would consider shorting much more earlier, much more aggressive. Because the most important volume has been traded. The institutional volume is here. We're trading below that. I can then confirm, okay, sellers are most likely now in control because we tapped into higher time frame resistance. We had a lot of volume at the top, like a P formation, and we broke below that. So now I'm willing to look for shorts quicker because of the fact that we are able to then use that as resistance, okay? So for that reason, unless we are not seeing something like that and we're distributed equally, like we are now, you're going to tap into areas of low volume where you could find support and absorption, okay? So the only thing that would change this and could change this is a huge NFP candle that does something like this, creates supply, which is a new supply zone that we can look at right there. And when I say supply zone, we create a 4-hour supply zone, whatever. We pull back. Then I'm willing to say, okay, now we are clearly overwhelmingly looking for shorts, and now we can continue to sell and get back towards the range, the larger range again, right? That could be something I would be looking for if the NFP comes out, let's say, negative for gold, okay? If right now that is not the case and we're here, I am still waiting for price to simply hold on around this area. And I will be not looking for shorts until that actually happens, because you can see that every time when we get towards that point that we talked about and we look into the order flow right here on the 15-minute, you can actually see that every time when we sold into that, a lot of people got stuck and trapped in their position right there. Look at all the sellers at the bottom and look at all that negative delta right there. Minus 500, 400, 400, 800. And, you know, price couldn't really break structure. Okay, that is not a good sign. If there are so many sellers in the market with so much volume and price cannot break structure, that is not a good sign for sellers, right? That is not a good sign for sellers in the market because there is just not much happening right there. Okay, that's the situation right now for the larger move. If we see that and the sellers are actually taking control and the NFP comes out, then we actually have something right there. Okay, I think that makes more sense. Yeah, another reason, as you can see right now, is not to chase price, because you see that the pullback just comes eventually. In this case, especially in this market, it's not really it is not really a surprise here. So maybe I should have waited another 15 minutes longer, because if price was holding up there, I would probably close the stream. But okay, the candle's moving. All right, let's see. Are we going to trade back inside of the fair value? Yes, almost. Where does it start? 4250. Where's the low volume node within that? Low volume node is at 42. 42.47. I am going to lower my risk today. Okay. I am going to lower my risk today in comparison. We usually trade one lot on stream. I think all our trades lately were one lot, right? Yeah, one lot. Pretty much all of them, except for the beginning when we started the account. But I might reduce it today. Okay. Let's get a little bit more down. Let's get to that zone then. Damn. Okay, we'll give it a try. Let's not mess it all up again at the end of the week. We had a great week again since the comeback. We made some monies. Let's not mess it up on a Friday. Right, guys? I hate that so much, right? Like, for example, I had like the Monday till Thursday profitable, all profitable, right? And then with you guys on a Friday stream, we had a loss on a Friday. I hate Friday losses. I can't stand it. Okay, there's nothing wrong with losing, but there is everything wrong with losing on a Friday. So let's not do that. Not today. Okay. A lot of sellers stepping in. Great. We want to see sellers coming in now. We want to get to the VWAP. Yeah, we're running. We want to get a little bit lower. We want to get here. So don't leave me hanging. One thing that changed my trading completely, setting the right expectations for a session. And that takes time for that took a lot of time for myself. Set the right expectations for the session. You understand what I mean when I say that. Setting the right expectations. So don't hold on to a trade where you know it's not going to be worth it. It's not going to pay off, right? So you hope that every trade that you get and enter, you hope that that will be the big trade. And you never take profits, for example. Or in the moment when the market is going bananas, you immediately exit the trade early because you're scared. Right? Things like that. Or you don't take profits. Or you take profits too quickly. So yeah, it's pretty much like that, right? Setting the right expectations every day. And working on that, predominantly. Please switch off the fan. No one is there. Save electricity, save the planet. Well, number one, solar panels. Secondary, I work hard, man. I work hard. I work hard for my money. You know what I mean? All good. How many commissions do you get on one lot? I don't know. I don't do any brokers, any broker affiliates. So okay, we're getting there. Is this going to be one of those sessions on a Friday? All right, we're getting close. Very close. Let's see a little bit on absorption though today. We're back in the fair value right now. We wanted to see that. So whenever people say the pullback cannot come, well, there we go. There you have the pullback. There is the pullback. There is the pullback. Like we wanted it, right? There we go. Can we drop a little bit more? I'm sure we can. All right, let's give it a try, guys. Let's give it a try. We are probably in an area of interest right now around the VWAP. So I'm gonna give it a shot. All right, let's see what happens. This is the Friday. The Friday. Half risk. It's half risk Friday. Okay. Today is half risk Friday. Let's give it a try. We're at the VWAP right now. We are in our zone here. Let's react out of the fair value and let at least come back to the previous highs here. If not a little bit further. But it's official. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that today is going to be a trading day? I never expected that one at the beginning of this stream. Well, there we go. Here we are. Here we are. Okay. Here we are. Dun, 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 dun. I like this initial reaction from the low volume node. I like it. I do like it. Again, it reacted from it. It did reacted from it. All right. What is the entry? 486. Can we target that level right there? Yeah. That is a reaction you want to see, right? Half risk Friday. Good reaction, man. Give me some moment, guys. I want some tea. Okay. Low volume node retest of the value area. All right. Typical, yeah. I mean retest. I would say of our zone initially. So the goal is to see if we can get now back to at least where we came from and retest some of those levels that we talked about right there and manage the trade. All right, that is kind of the idea right now at the moment, to wait for that reaction. Look at the 50-minute. I like that reaction on 50-minute. What do you think? I do like that. And I like that initial push or reaction right now at the moment right there. It's not a bad reaction, I would say, right? Dun, 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 dun. .5 lots today, though, instead of 1 lot. So now we're in the bottom of the wick, right? We're entered in the wick of this 50-minute candle. So that always helps, right? It gives us a bit more room to think about our decision here, instead of chasing the breakouts. Today is one of those days. Yesterday we chased the breakout, right? Different story. Yesterday we actually chased the breakout, remember? So it depends. Again, that's the condition. That is the condition we trade. Yeah, this is bullish. Dun, 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 dun. Come on. Oh. Yeah, the 50-minute looks clean. I do like it, but we want to see the follow through here, the breakout, but it looks very good. But the closure matters, right? It's the hourly closure too, so pay attention to that. We're dealing with an hourly candle closure as well. But yeah, this is the VWAP retest. Look at that on the order flow chart right there. That's the VWAP retest right into the box. You see that we marked out? Right in that box. Okay, so this closure is going to be very important. Also the hourly is going to be very key here. The 4-hour is neutral, I think. I think quite neutral right now at the moment. Let's look at the 4-hour. Yep. Oh, actually not bad at all. That doesn't look bad. That does not look that bad, actually. Why cannot I move my stop loss anymore? Oh, it's already set. Let's put our stop loss at entry today. Let's not mess around today, guys, with the NFP here. Let's not mess around today. We're at the bottom of the 50-minute, so you want to follow through here. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see if we can get some spike now, some volume. The volume is coming up a little bit. The tick size is going. So I do like to see that. Show us the follow through here. We don't want to see this 50-minute flip bearish now again, right? So there is no reason for us to not put our stop loss on entry now. Because if this kind of would flip bearish, then that would be a bad sign. All right. Man, we're struggling. Same level, huh? Come on, man. Look at that 50-minute candle. It's like all over the place right now at the moment. And the 5-minute is slowing down again already. Unfortunately, we're not getting the follow through that we wanted here. We wanted to see an instant follow through. No hesitation. We wanted to get in and we wanted to break structure. Especially during a day like today. Not looking that strong. So stop loss at the entry. We don't want to flip this candle bearish. And stay in our position here. Yeah. That's serious suppression, guys. Not gonna lie. That is some serious suppression right there. Agreed? Look at that. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess around today. Honestly, I'm not gonna like try to hold on to a trade today and hope that it will go in the NFP today. So we had one shot and one shot only, and this was the entry. And I think the best possible entry to give it a go and to give it a try to see if you could go and try to get towards this range or at least test the highs. One shot only. All right, candle closed with a lot of suppression at the top here, I think. On the 15-minute, yes. A lot of buyers stepped into the market here. Okay. You can already see that buyers are actually now stuck at the top of the candle. Right around there. You can see that, right? A lot more buying than selling at the top. That is usually not a good sign. Okay. For the follow through here. That is usually not really what you want to see. Because you want to actually close above that, or you want to see the volume of buyers coming in at the bottom, not at the top here. But if this candle shoots up and it follows through, then that is great, of course. If this candle can continue to break higher, but let's not risk the biscuit during the NFP today. Okay. I love wick entries. I love wick entries though. Wick entries are the best entries. Why? Because you can play around. You can observe. You have no drawdown. We had zero drawdown, right? In retrospect, zero drawdown. But it's a very tricky day right there today because we have the dollar is kind of hovering around. Oil, same thing. No direction on the dollar and on oil. Gold is actually holding up better and stronger than both of them. But we did see a huge pullback, not a slow grind. It's kind of an aggressive push. But that actually shows me that actually made me more bullish than bearish. Because these moves is what gold does a lot of times. The deadly candles on gold, and trust me, these are the worst candles on gold, is when gold slowly creeps down and it doesn't react to anything. It's just bleeding. And it doesn't react to levels. It doesn't react to the point of control. It doesn't react to anything else. That is significantly worse than a situation like this, where gold drops hard into a key level. Because that looks much more like manipulation. Okay. Back at the highs. Where's your stop loss? Stop loss is an entry. Okay, wow. Look at the VWAP here. The second touch of this candle right now. We're shooting up again, and it's not that we're seeing a lot of volume. It's just like there's an absorption happening right now at the moment. We call it the absorption, right? Look at that. Okay, let's go. Push it. Back into that level again. Yeah, back into that same resistance in the VWAP right there. We got rejected there so hard last time. You know what? NFP today, we're in that level in the VWAP there. It looks pretty good now. Let's look on the 1 minute. Nah. I'm out. Done. I'm gonna keep it very small today, guys. We're back in that same level on the order flow right now. We saw these buyers getting trapped right here. You see that? And we're getting into that level again. Okay. So we took it. That's it. Small trade NFP, $400 on a half risk trade, $500, 471. Okay. Similar to yesterday, actually. Similar to yesterday's setup right there. Okay. So I'm out of the trade and I'm not gonna hold on to it. No, I'm gonna let the NFP do its thing. Wait for the New York session to come. We get a quick scalp in the Asia. It's a very straightforward setup. Okay. It's a very straightforward trade, which is pretty much what we call the low volume node retest of the fair value of the range. Right? That is kind of the idea right there. So yeah, we're exited. We're out of the trade right now at the moment. Okay. All right. So you guys got what you wanted in the end. Yeah. No more complaining in the chat. You guys got what you want. Okay. It's done. I've done my job on a Friday. Okay. Anyways, we are actually seriously in that hourly zone right now, so that's the reason why. Otherwise, I would have definitely hold on to this here. Doesn't matter. A quick scalp, totally fine with this. We had no drawdown. We tapped into this. We sold off 100 pips into that level right around there. And if price now continues to go higher, great. If it does not, it's completely fine for me at the moment right there. Okay. All that makes sense. How does this trade work? Why did this work? We can do it one more time. We'll make a video about it later today. Okay. And that is the following reason. So we have a range. Okay. Number one, actually, let me just go back into the order flow. 15-minute time frame. We had an absorption of sellers yesterday in New York. Okay. Absorption of sellers in New York, super aggressive selling into a low volume node, a low volume area. A lot of people saw the daily candle flip bearish yesterday. Now that invites a lot of sellers. Because you see the daily candle flip bearish and you think, oh, I need to sell, sell, sell. Absorption. Okay, now we created a range. Okay, and then out of the range itself, which is this range, we broke to the upside. So we left fair value of the range. How do we use the fair value? How do we measure that? By measuring the volume profile and using the volume profile, and to take the volume profile from the left side of the range to the right side of the range until we broke out. Now, the moment we broke out, we have our zone here. The 70% of the volume is traded there. The very high, the very low, very high, very low. We mark it out as fixed and we get a box. You see that? We pull back into the box. We do not care about the high here. If you trade support and resistance, then people will trade the highs there. That is not the best level to enter from. The best level to enter from is the fair value, okay? And within the fair value, you have high volume nodes right there, and you have low volume nodes right there. High volume and low volume, okay? In this case, we saw a gap. You see that? And that gap is sitting right here. So we used the low volume node in that gap right there. Low volume node, and we zoom out and look, right? We zoom in a little bit, and you could see that price was getting close to that low volume node. Actually, sorry, it's right here. And we tapped into that area, okay? And price rejected from it immediately. And we decided to go long immediately, not hesitate, right? Just to go long right away. And retest the fair value. Confirmation in the order flow, okay? On the 15-minute time frame with the VWAP as well. Inside of that zone, we saw the absorption happening, and we saw it and we realized we need to enter right away, go long, and then exit where the buyers are getting trapped at the hourly. So it's a quick scalp. It's not a big trade, but it's a clean trade that makes sense from all angles, right? I hope that makes sense. All right. Cool, my friends. Today's video will be about the playbooks, different styles, different entry models inside of the volume profile. So if you want to learn about that, I'm back from a holiday right now. Ibiza is finished. It was a good time, by the way. Traded there as well. Actually, very, very nice. Really enjoyed it. But today will be a new video. Okay, I will drop episode number 3 of the private videos on my channel. You can see it right there. These are only private videos that I share in my group and nothing else right there. It's actually a complete explanation of how to use the volume profile correctly. No order flow, but just the volume profile. Okay. And I will go over it today in episode number 3. So if you want to join the Telegram, you can join the Telegram for free. I have nothing to sell you there right now. Telegram videos, updates, click on the 3 videos right there and watch the video for today. It will be very important. So you understand the logic from a deeper perspective of why we look at entries like that, okay, on a regular basis. We do this live on stream every day. I'm back from a holiday right now, so we're going to be here now for a while, okay? Awesome. Thank you guys, amazing start and comeback as well. Wednesday done, Thursday done, Friday done. And we're going to be back on a Monday again. Okay, look at the candle right now. We're seeing the rejection happening already. So it made sense that we exited, in my opinion, right there. We can't be greedy during the NFP. I hope that makes sense for you guys, because look at what happened if we held on to the trade. Again, that would have been frustrating, right? Look at that. That would have been frustrating right around there. Anyways, hope that makes sense. I'm going to see you guys on a Monday. Watch the Telegram. And keep in mind, this is the only Telegram group. It's the link in my description. All the other Telegram groups are fake. TikToks, I don't have TikTok, okay? It's all fake, it's all fugazi. This is where you can find me on this YouTube channel, okay? So subscribe, like, and yeah, I see you on a Monday, man. Much love. Have a good weekend. Love you all. Good luck with the NFP. Because the NFP will tell us a lot of information for a Monday Asia session. See you there.